We don't need a military that's woman-friendly. We don't need a military that's gay-friendly, with all due respect to the Air Force. We need a military that's flat-out hostile. We need a military full of type A men who want to sit on a throne of Chinese skulls. But we don't have that now. We can't even get women off of naval vessels. That should be step one, but most of them are already pregnant anyway.
Little blast from the past there. Joining me now, Nick Adams, author of the book From Mar-a-Lago to Mars. Nick, that I caught a lot of heat from that. Apparently the country of China is still upset with me about the whole thing, but it appears that the Pentagon is going to buy into that kind of thinking now, and that's a good thing.
Jesse Kelly, you were a man ahead of your time. Absolutely. It's great to join you on the show. And boy, oh boy, did you nail it or did you nail it? It was sensational. It's exactly what's happening. My good friend, Secretary Hegseth, is in there. He's getting rid of the social engineering experiment that was the military under Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. It's being turned into some war fighters that are going to, quote a great man, sit on the skulls of Chinese warriors. I think that was what you said.
Nick, it's very obvious that they're going to keep coming up with coordinated attacks on Hegseth. What is it about Pete? Of all the people, there's all kinds of people all over the administration, Marco and all of them, but Pete is the one they really want out of there. Why?
And that tells us that Pete is the one that we really, really need to stand by, Jesse. Look, I think that there's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of envy. He's an outsider to the political world. President Trump handpicked him. He's now got one of the most powerful roles that there is. And he's doing a fabulous job. He's eliminated DEI. We're not even into 100 days yet of what he's been set out to do, but he's already made such incredible, significant strides in eliminating this woke stuff and getting rid of this DEI stuff. He's effective. He's a fabulous communicator. He's fearless. President Trump has his back. So he has the hallmarks of all of those things that the left hate. Not to mention, of course, Jesse, something you and I are very rich in, testicular fortitude.
Speaking of which, Trump continues to beat up Harvard, which I find hilarious. He's taking a bunch of money away from him. Now they're suing him for it. Talk to me about this, Nick.
Well, at the end of the day, Harvard is not a state university. Harvard is a private university, a private institution. So if it wants to make its curriculum DEI, if it so deeply and unabashedly and avowedly wants to have a DEI curriculum, then it should really fund itself. And it shouldn't rely, it should do the honorable thing and reject public or federal funding and simply rely on its private tuition. It's a very expensive place for anyone to go, and that includes the Chinese students that are sent over to spy on Americans. So I think Harvard should just rely on its own income that it receives and forget about taking government money.
Elie Mystral's been making the media rounds trying to sell some crappy book he has out. Here he was.
I don't give a lot of constitutional weight or heft to laws passed before 1965. Right? Because nobody asked me, and nobody asked anybody to look like me. So why should I care what some old white judge and some old white legislature and some old white president decided was right for me? Living under the laws of the people who kidnapped my people and held us in bondage, that's not something they do anywhere else in the world. It's not like South Africa said, like, oh, that apartheid was bad, but you know what? We're just going to, clean up some of these laws, and, okay, now we have... No. They were like, take your Boer constitution and put it in the trash. We will write another one, this time including everybody.
Well, Jesse, it won't surprise you to learn
they're just going to fully embrace the white hatred now.
Heft to Elie Mystal. In fact, I had to look him up to know who he was. Look, I think that his comments are divisive, they're un-American, and quite frankly, they don't matter. He is irrelevant, And the last thing he should be doing is stoking the flames of racial division, which is what he appears to want to do here. America is the most colorblind society. It's the most multi-ethnic society. This is the place with the least racism in the world.
Nick, Jamie Raskin, boy, he said quite a thing. Here he was.
If and when we come back to power, and we will, we are not going to look kindly upon people who facilitated, to use a word of the day, who facilitated authoritarianism in our country. Because that's an assault on our Constitution and on our people.
Well, Jesse,
Nick, Democrats are now
call
threatening
him
people
Jamie
like the
Rascal, but I think that is too kind. Look, I think that his comments there are not only incendiary, but they're also a contravention of the Logan Act of 1799. It is absolutely outrageous that this person that calls himself a congressman would threaten other countries, all because President Trump is going to do good deals with them and they're going to reciprocate. So it's outrageous that Jamie Rascal wants to come out and threaten other countries. I don't know who he thinks he is, but he's not the president. And if he continues to do and say the kinds of things that he's been doing and saying, I don't suspect he'll ever be in a position to carry out his threat anyway.
Nick, thank you. I appreciate it, brother. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.